Hi there, in this video I'm going to have a go at making a fuel tank for the Jerry Howell Farm Boy hit and miss engine. So this is the sort of thing I'm thinking about, obviously not to scale, and using this piece of hex aluminium bar, and I've got some watch glasses here and some of these BS021 O-rings. So I think my first thing to do is to get it chucked up in the lathe, face this end off, and then decide what to do after that. It might be an idea to cut it roughly to length first of all. Well, that's to within a couple of thou. Happy with that. So I'm going to open this up gradually with some drill bits, and then I'll use a boring bar. I'll probably go just beyond halfway and I'll switch it round and do the other side. Well, that seemed to go okay. Took a while. Now my plan is, at some point in time, I'm going to part off these sides, which will act as covers, and I think I'll go to about 5mm wide. So I've decided to use some 7BA bolts, and I'll be on both sides. I'll be drilling and tapping in 6 positions. Now, what I'll do first of all is I'll drill through the tapping size, which is 2.1 millimeters, and I'll go to a depth of around about 16 millimeters, I think. Once I've done that, I'll put a 2.6 millimeter drill bit in, and then I'll drill down to a depth of 5 millimeters, and then I can go around and do the tapping. Once I've done that, I can then part the sides off, and hopefully we'll be able to fit the O-ring and the sort of perspex covers or whatever they're made out of. So I'll do that on the mill. Okay, so first of all I need to centre it on the mill using this coaxial indicator. So just in the x-axis, now the y, and the x again, and the y, and the x. That's about perfect. So I'll zero the arrow, and then we can set up the circle function. So to set up the whole circle, press that, and it's on the XY plane, and we're already on the centre position, and the diameter of the whole circle is going to be 1.2 inches, and the starting angle is going to be 0 degrees. Now what that means is that's 0 degrees there, so it relates to the x-axis on the table. And we've said it's going to be it's going to start and end on 360 degrees, so the fact it's going to end on 360 degrees, it means that the first hole will be in the same position as the last hole. So that actually means that, albeit we've only got 6 holes, we count in the first and last twice, so that means 7 holes. And that gives position of the first hole to make, so it's just a matter of moving the x and y axis, so I get a 0 here, and then I can centre drill and drill through with, I think it's a 2.1 millimeter drill bit, and then I can do a clearance hole at the top. Once I've done that, I can go around and do the second hole, the 4th, 5th, 6th and the 7th, and the 7th will be in the same place as hopefully the first, 60039. Yeah. So I'm on hole number 1. I've positioned the table at the x and the y coordinates of 0, and that's put me on position 1. And I think just to keep things simple, I might as well do all the centre drilling first, then I can do the drilling with the 2.1 millimeter drill bit and then carry on like that. So I'll continue like this, going around doing the centre drilling, and then I'll repeat with the 2.1 millimeter drill bit. So this is the clearance drill, and I've decided to go to a depth of 6 millimeters. Okay, so I'll go around and do the rest, and then we can start some tapping. Okay, so I need to repeat the process on the other 5 holes. I'll do all that off camera and then I'll get back to you. Well, that seems to have worked out okay. I've just put the bolts in just to make sure that they're the right depth. So I need to repeat the same process on this side, but I'll do all that off camera. Plan B. So now I'm cutting the recess for the O-ring and the glass. Well, that seems to have worked out okay. It's just big enough for the glass. But I think I'll put the seal in first. Like that. And the glass just sticks out slightly from the face. And then we can put that on like that. So what I need to do now is make some brass legs for it, and make a brass filler and a brass pipe for the outlet at the bottom. So off camera I just made this little filler cap. Oops. That's just an M6 thread which goes into there, and that's a slightly bigger thread. Can't remember what that was, 5/16 or something like that. So all I need to do now is make a couple of legs, which will be, this needs to stand 1/2 inch off the frame. So I'm going to make the legs out of that. We'll go like that. So we'll have a thread on this end, probably M6 or M5, and then we'll have an internal thread on the other end to accept these bolts, which will bolt the legs to the frame. And then using another piece of brass bar, probably that or that smaller one, I'm going to make the fuel pipe that comes out the bottom. .97mm, that'll do for an M6. So this is a 4.2mm drill bit for an internal M5 thread, and I'll drill to a depth of about 10mm. Well, they seem to have worked out okay, and I made the connector for the fuel pipe off camera in a similar way to the way I made these, really. And so all I need to do now, I think, is to drill 3 holes in the bottom M6. Well, there's 2 bits of bad news and a bit of good news. Now, the bad news is, when I was trying to part one of these sides off in the lathe, there was so much overhang that the 3-jaw chuck gave away and it put a ding in there. I've got some JB Weld, but JB Weld for filling I think it's a bit too dark for aluminium. But I've got some aluminium powder that I used to use when I was using the wood turning lathe. So I'm going to mix that powder with some epoxy resin, and then I'll fill it in, and hopefully that ding will disappear. Now the other bit of bad news is that when I was fitting the crystal glass, I put the O-ring in first and then the crystal glass on top, and it broke. And the way around that is to put the crystal glass in first and put the O-ring on top. So that's the bit of good news. I've still got one piece of crystal glass, so I've had to send off for another piece. But I think all in all it should look pretty good on the engine. Well, for the farm boy, there aren't any plans for the fuel tank, so you've got to sort of make up your own. And I'd seen sort of something like that on the internet, so I thought I'd have a go copying it, and well, it looks alright. I like the idea of the glass in the sides, or the glass in the side, so you can actually see the levels, and it should look quite good on the completed engine. Now my final video will show the completed engine. I'm not going to paint the body, I've decided. I'm painting the flywheels. I'll put all the electronics in here, and hopefully it'll run as well as it did when you saw it last time. So anyway, I hope you found the video of interest, and I hope to see you later.